Hello, I'm the political and business editor at Berkeley Squares, and I'm here at the Wild Goose Drop-In Centre at the launch of the Mayor's charity fund, which will be going towards homelessness in Bristol. Let's go and take a look. What are your long-term goals for the homeless?
Well, that we solve the housing crisis in the city. Fundamentally, we get the powers and resources we need. But we set out an aspiration with our collection of groups, organisations, that we're a city that between January the 1st and March the 1st, no one who has the ability to accept help spends the night on the street. In terms of street sleeping, I think we want to work towards being a no night out policy.
Are the rising house prices in Bristol sort of driving the poor out of Bristol?
Well, we have a problem with gentrification in Bristol, absolutely. I mean, this is the road I grew up on, Stableston Road. I mean, the idea that you'd have kind of the middle class professionals moving in down here some years ago, people were scared to come down here. When I was a kid growing up, key is clearly building homes, right? Key is clearly building affordable homes, but it's also that we need the powers from central government. We know what's going on. All the political machinations that happen at a national level are kind of evaporate at local level.
What do you think is the greatest challenge of reducing inequality in Bristol?
We've obviously identified housing as a number one issue for us, but there'll be issues of economic dislocations, the physical and the cultural distance that people have from economic opportunity. So if you're in Hartcliffe or Avonmouth, you're disconnected from the economic opportunity here. For me, growing up, we were three in a two-bed council house, lived in a refuge for a while, but my access was clearly getting access to a good education and having a couple of teachers around me who were very visionary and picked me up. But again, it's complicated because part of my own ability to take those opportunities was connected to my participation in sport. When I started boxing, I got a degree of self-esteem that allowed me to overcome my absolute fear of failing. I've said to young people I see growing up, I work with, if you've had a hard life, right, in some sense rejoice in that. I wish I'd have realised when I got to university and I used to feel really intimidated by the kids who went to private school. I should have said to them, your parents spent 200 grand on your education, mine spent nothing. And I'm at the same university as you, right? Pound for pound, textbook for textbook, I've done better than you, right? So, and I say that to kids growing up with hardship now. If you still got it together after all the stuff you faced, you should be proud because you've shown yourself to have incredible resilience.
You talk about boiling an ocean. Do you think that it's a realistic goal to eradicate homelessness in Bristol completely?
Depends on the timescale over which we aspire to do that. Our business, or my business, is about being a real mayor and real city leadership. It's not that we say we're going to do everything tomorrow. What we want to do is set out a 30-year plan, a 50-year plan. We're doing that with the resilience strategy.
Do you think that Brexit will make it harder for you to gain further funds?
I think Brexit's a big problem. I'm not a politician trying to suck up people democracy and they had the vote. Oh no, I'm flat out. Brexit was a bad decision. It was pushed on us by a group of fraudulent frauds who are posh people who were absolutely establishment, who said that they're speaking up for ordinary people and they're not. And they've all taken off now, right, by the way, hanging around outside golden envelope, golden envelope elevators with, fraudulent US president-elects. So yeah, it makes it harder. And the social consequences of Brexit make it harder to bring the city together as well. I mean, I've got people in my family voted Brexit, and I said to them that, you shouldn't have been suckered by these people coming along. The feelings that people have about being left behind by globalization are absolutely accurate. Globalization has not worked, and I've been working on globalization since the 90s. They were ripping off Africa, they were ripping off Latin America, ripping off Asia through structural adjustment and the way it was working. But the people that came along offering a solution were not real. They were not offering a real solution to people who've been left behind. They do not. One of the surest tests of whether you're a member of the establishment is your ability to criticize the establishment without people telling you you've got a chip on your shoulder. So when Gove, Farage and Johnson stand up and criticise the establishment, without any comeback on them, you know that they are the establishment. It was a big fraud. It was a big fake.
Do you think that Bristol's public transport services makes it harder for homeless people to get to a job or to get to their place of...
It makes it harder for everyone to get to a job and get to a place. It's not just public transport though, it's the interaction of public transport with the city's congestion problems and the fact that we've never grasped the nettle and we've never done the job of planning a world-class transport system.
How do you propose getting on top of that?
Well, identifying the fact that we've never made the plan. That's number one. We don't want to talk about just roadworks, isolated roadworks and projects here and there. We want to look at the whole system. How does it all interact? How do people move around? And yeah, we've got to look at, I think we need to look at three-dimensional transport. It's a phrase that someone shared with me the other day. That means going underground.
Finally, just in one sentence, could you just sum up what you want your legacy, being mayor, what you want to do for Bristol?
I want a city that's full of aspiration, but a city that's inclusive. The aspiration has to include everyone.